Ciao ragazzi, this is Katie Portanova, and you're listening to Florence and Me. I'm a lover of stories and all things Italian, and I'm going to bring you all that in this podcast. My intention is to inspire you to step out of your comfort zone and explore life and travel the world. Join me as I tell you my story and many others about Italy and my love, Florence. Andiamo! Ciao tutti! It's Katie. It's almost been a month since I have recorded a podcast, and it's because it's been very busy. Been trying to get people signed up for my retreat coming up in September. It's not looking good, but I'm okay about it. If you are ever interested or going to be interested in coming on a retreat with me to Tuscany, there will be a wait list coming up because I have some really amazing things happening in the new year, even though it's still March. But I have great ideas, and I just wanted to come and say how much I appreciate everyone that listens to this podcast. I don't always have in my opinion, the best content, but I feel like I do give you a lot of information about traveling to Italy, which I will do more of. I miss having my episodes with Julia, and Julia has been without internet for since she moved to her new place. She finally has it. We're going to start planning some new episodes coming up soon. Same type of thing, talking about traveling to Italy, things to look for, things to try, all those times, really fun things. What else? So I went on a women's retreat with one of the women I met through my local chamber of commerce, who really did a really nice I can say it too many times, a really nice job bringing together women that weren't catty. I don't know why I always think of the things that I dread most about being with a group of women, but I do. I was very nervous. It was out of my comfort zone. I don't really like being with a lot of people anymore. I think this is before the pandemic. So it was really out of my comfort zone. I ended up splurging and got a night at a hotel nearby where this was at, and really focused on meeting new people, being open, not, listening to the little gremlins in my head. But all the speakers that we had were just amazing, especially one, Rebecca. She has a company called Pleasantly Aggressive. And what's interesting about her, she told the story of how she, was conversing with somebody probably of the male gender, and referred to her as being aggressive. And she's like, no, I'm pleasantly aggressive. So I think that was the story. I might have just made that up. But what I remember most about her is she was just very unapologetic of being herself. And her talk was very helpful to me because it made me keep thinking of how much more I need to show up in my business and in my life. That, how do I say this? We only have this life, and I need to stop caring about what other people think. I might have said this a few episodes back, maybe not. I don't think I ever said this on the podcast, so I'm being very vulnerable right now. When I first came back from living abroad, when I studied abroad, I had a high school friend invite me out to coffee, and she wanted to talk about, living abroad because she wanted to go and was interested in it before she settled down, had kids and stuff. And so we met, and I remember all the energy I had when I was speaking to her about my experience abroad and living in Italy and all the friends I made and all the things that I've done and the jobs that I've had in Florence. And I was just so full of energy. And I remember not stopping really to breathe because I was just like so excited to talk to her and that she was interested and those of you that know me in person, I do love telling people to study abroad and move abroad because it really changed the complete direction of my life if I didn't study abroad my junior year in college. And when I continued this conversation with conversation, it was basically me just talking about my life abroad, and I was so happy and proud of it. And she never really asked questions or anything. I just kept going on and on and on, and from what I remember, and we left. We parted ways, and I never heard from her again. She never reached out to say thanks for all the insight and blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Never talked to me again. And that one experience in my late 20s changed the way I actually talk about my experiences abroad and my life abroad. Now I talk about it because I'm making my life is my business on this and like talking about my experience, my love and everything I love about life resides in Italy. Everything, my friends, my family, like everything. And everything began there, which I'll tell you another story in a second. So I stopped talking about my life because of this one insignificant person. And those of you that know Emmanuel Acho, I think his last name's, he did that podcast, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. And I listened to him. I always listen to him because I love the way he talks, but he was on Brene Brown's podcast a while back, and he said something that I have written down. It's on my computer. And it says, stop letting such insignificant people have significance over your life. And I definitely did that with this said friend. And it totally changed the way I expressed myself and how I, told people about what I love about Italy and what I love about this experience and what I love about myself and what I love about how I've done it and what I've accomplished and all those things. So I want to say this, and I'm going to move on to my next story because I have a lot of stories. But if you are holding back in any way, shape, or form because of an insignificant person, don't hold back because it's not worth it. It's not worth it because nobody is looking at what you're doing but you. Let me explain that. Nobody is criticizing you more than you criticize yourself, or judging you more than you judge yourself. And the little gremlins in your head that tell you you're not good enough, you shouldn't be doing that, you should get a better job, you should, whatever it's telling you should, it's shooting all over you. Just know that there's only so much time for you to do the exact thing that you're meant to do. And I hope with all my heart that you do that, and you do travel abroad, and you do live abroad, and you do take that risk and move to a different state, or move to a different country, or start a business like me, and learn to be patient, which, I'll be honest, it's hard for me to do. But anyway, my next story, I have I have family in outside of London. It's my Nana side of the family. But right now my parents are there visiting. One of my uncles is not doing very well, my grandmother's youngest brother, but they're there, they're visiting, and it's great. So I happened to speak with my zio Luigi, which is my grandmother's second brother. Yes, because my grandmother's the oldest. And Luigi and Orietta, my great aunt, they still go and vacation in my grandmother's birth town, in Ferneta, in Emilia-Romagna, near Sassuolo. And I happened to speak with them over FaceTime yesterday. And I had this huge urge to visit them when they're there in August. And as we were speaking in Italian, and my Aunt Orietta was like, "Oh, you speak such good Italian. I'm so glad you didn't forget it." And I'm just overwhelmed with joy. And because I had only been to Ferneta with my Nana and Papa and this is 2007, but it was in March, and it's pretty dead because it's cold and rainy and snowy, and I remember snow on the ground. So it's not really a happening place, especially because it's one street where she's from in this little tiny hill town. But my Zio Luigi said that it's full of energy and life in the summer, and he wants me to visit. And so me and Stefan are thinking, oh, I don't know if we can do it. It's so expensive, right? Everything's expensive right now. I don't know. But I'm thinking, I only live once. I don't know how much longer they're going to be going down there. I mean, I don't know. But they said I could come next year too if I can't make it. Anyway, my point is the one thing he said to me over the phone was this is where it all began. And you have to come. And I'm like, oh my God, of course I will come. I still miss her a lot. And it would be really weird, going there without her, but I know I need to go. And I need to meet all these distant relatives that I've never met. We have a Facebook group with all the Gazzottis, if anyone listens. They don't. They all speak Italian, I'm sure. But yeah, anyway, my point, I keep saying my point. I don't really have a point today. I was just kind of coming on here just so you guys know I still have this podcast going. I wanted to talk about the retreat ending. The deadline to sign up just for the deposit is this Sunday, okay, in 3 days. So you just have to pay the $500, and then the remainder can be paid in when you're ready, but at least 60 days before the start of the retreat. But if I don't have 6 by Sunday, probably not doing it. But it's okay. It's okay. Like I said, I'm just building this. It's a growing season. I'm really, really excited of what I'm building. And there's just so much growing and building right now. So, and if I have anybody that wants to do private retreats, I've had some friends reach out wanting to do private retreats for their sisters or their family, or I have some yoga studios I'm starting to work with to do a private retreat for their clients. So there's a lot that's brewing right here, So, yeah. And I talked about the women's retreat I went on, which was really cool. And I'm just going to start being more unapologetically me and start sharing more things with you, because, again, I feel like I don't talk to anybody on here because it's just me and myself and I and my cats when they're behind me. So I appreciate all of you that listen and keep listening, because I've got really cool ideas coming up for some new episodes. And if you want some specific thing that you want me to talk about, please leave me a message at the SpeakPipe link that I'm going to list below in the show notes. Or email me at trulyitalytours@gmail.com. Or just go to my website. You can use the contact form to fill out as well and give me some feedback. I'd love to hear if you're all liking it too. I promise not to be this far away. I've got some episodes coming up, like I said. Me and Julia are in the works of trying to find some cool things to talk about. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about what's to come. And yeah. That is all for today. Allora, buongiorno, buonasera, buonanotte, wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao. I am beyond grateful for you listening to my podcast right now. I am so excited to share my journey of living abroad and all of my stories of Florence and Italy and all the places in between that I've visited. If this has reached you in any way and you would like to continue, please subscribe now. Also, go check out my website, trulyitaly.tours, for all my travel experiences. Ci si vede. Ciao.